Which countries in Africa have most industries?
Of course, all African countries have industries, but I can select for you only 10 most industrialized countries in Africa.
Number 10.
Number 10 is Namibia. In 2021-2022, industry sector in Namibia contributed 25% to its GDP. That is 3 times more than agriculture sector, which contributed only 9.4% to its GDP. Agriculture is the 3rd highest provider of labor in Namibia, and Namibia is one of the very few African countries with advanced manufacturing sector, with Africa Industrialization Index score of 0.6014, making Namibia the 10th most industrialized country in Africa.
Number 9.
Wait, before we go to number 9, this to let you know that this information is powered by the Forest Resort Lweza Entebbe, Uganda. And as always, that place is so marvelous. It has a good swimming pool, good gardens, good restaurant and bar with all kind of food and drinks. And this Christmas period, everything that you want to do, like parties, baby showers, weddings, and what have you, it can happen there. Go and check it out.
Number 9.
Number 9 is Kenya. Manufacturing output in Kenya has been growing steadily in decades. In 2021-2022, it reached an all-time high of $7.99 billion. Kenya is one of the leading countries in Africa when it comes to export of horticulture and tea. And also, Kenya is at the front seat when it comes to digital revolution. Kenya's agricultural sector is bigger than industrial sector, and they are good at processing front. That is the manufacturing of food and beverages, fruit and vegetables, and cut flower sector, which employs more than 200,000 people and generates approximately $1 billion and above as annual export revenue. Kenya is one of the countries with a very good business climate over the decades, with African Industrialization Index score of 0.6029, making Kenya the 9th most industrialized country in Africa.
Okay. Number 8.
Number 8 is Nigeria. Just like Kenya, Nigeria is also very good at manufacturing food and beverages. But also there is a way Nigerian government uses tariff policies in order to revive automobile industry by raising tariff on already assembled vehicles and lowering tariff to spare parts. In 2021, Nigeria manufacturing industry made history by reaching an all-time high of $64.4 billion with Africa Industrialization Index score of 0.6046, making Nigeria the 8th most industrialized country in Africa.
Number 7.
Number 7 is Senegal. In Senegal, industrial sector is larger than agricultural sector, whereby it employs 13.6% of Senegalese labor force. And Senegal is one of the few countries in Africa whereby industrialization has employed many people than ever before. In the last 2 decades, Senegal economy has been rapidly growing, and at one time it reached an all-time high of $4.08 billion, with Africa Industrialization Index score of 0.6147, making Senegal the 7th most industrialized country in Africa.
Number 6.
Number 6 is Eswatini. Manufacturing sector in Eswatini contributes 33% to its GDP and 65% to its exports by value. Eswatini is the 2nd country in Africa when it comes to manufacturing added value per capita. Between 2010 and 2022, Eswatini's export has been consistent with 1% annual rate. Eswatini is good at food products and processed sugar, with Africa Industrialization Index score of 0.6423, making Eswatini the 6th most industrialized country in Africa.
Number 5.
Number 5 is Mauritius. Mauritius is one of the fastest growing economies in Africa, and they have collaborated with the private sector in order to improve infant industries. And also they have embraced use of technology in order to improve the quality of textile industry output. By the year 2000, manufacturing sector was making up to 21% of the country's GDP. But now it has halved to 10.7% with Africa Industrialization Index score of 0.6685, making Mauritius the 5th most industrialized country in Africa.
Number 4.
Number 4 is Tunisia. Tunisia has just dropped from number 2 to number 4. But its industrial sector is very strong. Because in Tunisia, industrial sector is 2 times bigger than agricultural sector. There are over 1,000 manufacturing plants in Tunisia, whereby 435 engage in exports. Tunisia's exports rotate around fashion, clothing, electrical machinery, and it is Africa's largest exporter of insulated wire, with Africa Industrialization Index score of 0.7714, making Tunisia the 4th most industrialized country in Africa.
Number 3.
Number 3 is Egypt. In Egypt, industrial sector contributes 11.7% to its economy. And in the last 7 years, they built a total of 10,000 new factories. And Egypt is the largest manufacturer of apparel. Industrial value in Egypt has grown from 2014 at $22 billion to 2021-2022 at $60 billion. Egypt is a country which can lead Africa into industrialization future with Africa Industrialization Index score of 0.7877, making Egypt the 3rd most industrialized country in Africa.
Number 2.
Number 2 is Morocco. Morocco's government emphasizes in industrialization, especially in automobile industry. Morocco is good at exporting women clothing, fertilizer, automobile, electrical appliances to markets across Europe, USA, and Brazil. Morocco is the 2nd largest exporter of manufactured food in Africa after South Africa, surpassing their neighbors Tunisia and Egypt, with Africa Industrialization Index score of 0.8387, making Morocco the 2nd most industrialized country in Africa.
Wow. And number 1.
Number 1 is South Africa. South Africa is the only sub-Saharan country which has surpassed North African countries. South Africa is the only economy which is near the global standard. South Africa is the leading country in Africa with manufactured goods export. And it is a very important trading partner with its global neighbors, with an African Industrialization Index score of 0.8404, making South Africa the most industrialized country in Africa.
This man!